Now that we have a rigorous understanding of what it means for a function to be integrable, one of the first things we would like to do is to develop some alternative characterizations of integrability. Link in the description to my video introducing Riemann integration if you need to review. Recall that part of our development of the theory was to consider upper integrals and lower integrals. The upper integral of the function f is the infimum of all of those upper rectangle sums, and similarly, the lower integral is the supremum of all of those lower rectangle sums. And then the definition is that a function f is integrable only if the lower integral and the upper integral are equal. This means, in a sense, that the lower integral and the upper integral are arbitrarily close, and thus this definition of integrability quickly admits an epsilon characterization. And today we'll prove that. We're going to prove that a bounded function f is integrable on a closed interval from a to b, if and only if, for every epsilon greater than 0, there exists a partition p epsilon of that interval so that the upper integral and lower integral are within epsilon of each other. Recall that we know the upper integral is at least as big as the lower integral, which is why we don't need absolute value bars here. Remember, a function being integrable means that the upper and lower integrals are equal. This is just a different way of capturing that by showing that we can make the upper and lower integrals arbitrarily close. As an alternative definition, note this is an if and only if statement. So we'll begin by taking epsilon greater than 0, and first assuming that this partition p epsilon exists. This is a partition of that interval from a to b, so that the upper and lower integrals with respect to that partition, p epsilon, are within epsilon of each other. But then, if we know there's this partition where the upper and lower sums are less than epsilon away, then certainly the upper and lower integrals are also less than epsilon away from each other. Because again, the upper integral is an infimum of upper sums. That means the upper integral, if anything, is going to be less than this particular upper sum. Similarly, the lower integral, as the supremum of the lower sums, if anything, it's going to be greater than this particular lower sum. That is to say, the distance between the upper and lower integrals will certainly be no bigger than the distance between any two particular upper and lower sums. Hence, the existence of a partition like this for any epsilon greater than 0 implies that the upper and lower integrals are arbitrarily close together, since their distance is always going to be less than that positive number epsilon. Thus, it must be, of course, that the upper and lower integrals are equal, and so by definition, f is integrable, as desired. Next, we'll go the other direction. Assume that f is integrable. Now we're not taking that partition for granted anymore. So we're going to take an arbitrary epsilon greater than 0, then there must exist a partition p1, so that the upper area with respect to p1 is less than the upper integral plus epsilon over 2. Again, that's because the upper integral is the infimum. It's the greatest lower bound of the set of upper sums. So if we increase it at all, there has to be some upper sum with respect to some partition that we're calling p1 that is less than it. And similarly, since the lower integral is the least upper bound of the set of lower sums, if we reduce it at all, subtracting epsilon over 2, well, there certainly must be some lower sum with respect to some partition that we're going to call P2 that is greater. Then we'll union these two partitions P1 and P2 together to create our desired partition P epsilon. Subjecting the upper and lower sums to a common refinement can only make them closer together. So certainly the upper sum with respect to p epsilon and the lower sum with respect to p epsilon have a distance that's less than or equal to the distance between the upper sum with respect to p1 and the lower sum with respect to p2. Again, that's because p epsilon is a common refinement of those two partitions. It's a refinement of p1, and it's also a refinement of p2. So again, this upper sum, if anything, is smaller than this one, and this lower sum, if anything, is greater than this one. So this distance between them is less than or equal to this distance. Then we use the bounds we just established. This upper sum with respect to p1 is less than the upper integral plus epsilon over 2. And similarly with this lower sum, which is greater than the lower integral minus epsilon over 2. Then upper integral minus lower integral, those cancel out. Why? Well, because remember, the assumption for this direction is that f is integrable, so the upper and lower integrals are equal. So those cancel out. What's left is epsilon over 2 minus negative epsilon over 2. That's 2 epsilon over 2, which is just epsilon. So we've shown then that if f is integrable over that closed interval from a to b, there must exist a partition p epsilon so that the upper and lower sums, with respect to that partition, have a distance from each other that's less than epsilon. The distance between the upper and lower sums can be made arbitrarily small by finding the right partition. So that's how to prove this epsilon definition of integrability. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and be sure to check out my real analysis course and real analysis exercises playlists in the description for more.